Hey guys, I am so happy that you guys have decided to deepen your understanding when it comes to due diligence. And we're about to get into the process where we teach you guys how to run comps. But a lot of people ask, before I even run comps and I'm out in the field, how do I quickly ascertain how much I should be paying for a piece of land? Or how do I know if I have a piece of land, how much the value of the house is going to be after I buy it? So this is a rule that we use inside of our company, and that is the 20% rule. Whatever it is, as far as the value of the property, the land should only be about 20% of that. So if you find a home that's worth 500,000, the lot should not cost more than $100,000. You also can reverse that. So if somebody's willing to sell me a lot for 100,000, I should be able to put a home on that piece of property for $500,000 or more. I hope this tip brings you guys a lot of value. I know it's done it for us. Now let's get into how do you run comps. Okay, guys, you've been running due diligence, and now it's time for you to run your comps. This is a very important part of your due diligence process because you need to know, am I buying land right? Am I getting it at the right price? And do I know what the value of my property is going to be when I finish building it in the next 6 to 9 months? So first off, I'm sure you're asking yourself, what is a real estate comp? And a real estate comp, short for comparable sale, is a recently sold property that is similar in key features to the property that you'll be evaluating, and it's used to help determine what the current market value is of your property. Next, you probably are asking yourself, well, how do I get access to this information? And there's a number of different ways that you can get access to this information. One, you can lean on a real estate professional. You can access your real estate agent. They have access to something that's called a CMA, or what we call a comparative market analysis. This is a report prepared by your real estate professional, and it will estimate the market value of the property by comparing similar recent sold, active, and expired listings in the exact same area. You also can reach out to a broker, and they can give you what we call a broker priced opinion. It's going to give you access to pretty much the same information that you're going to get from a CMA that you'll get from your realtor. Last but not least, you guys will have access to different type of real estate tools that you'll be able to use. Your agent and your broker, of course, have access to the MLS, but you can purchase software like PropStream, Propelia, Batch Leads, Property Radar. You can use things like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com with their filters. You can use your county appraisal district or your tax assessor's office. And then if you're looking for land specific platforms, I know that a lot of our brokers use LandWatch or land.com. With these different resources, you'll be able to access what are the comps in your area to be able to determine what the value is going to be of your property when you bring it to market. So now you know what a comp is. You know that you can reach out to a trusted professional, you can get access to a CMA, you can get access to a BPO. We listed a number of platforms that you can get access to run your own comps if you decide to subscribe. Luckily for us, we had a broker that sent us over an address. So now we're going to run an illustration to see what the value is of the subject property is before we buy it. Before we get started, there are 5 main things that we run or we look at when we are looking at comps on every single subject property. I know you guys may be saying, well, I learned there were 7 or there were 10, and that may be true, but there are 5 main ones that we look at before we decide to move forward on any property. The first one that we look at is, are we in the same subdivision? A lot of times we will see that people want to go outside of their subdivision because they see more favorable values outside of their subdivision or further away from the subject property that they're looking at. That does not help you. At the end of the day, we're really basing what we're looking at on what the appraiser is going to be looking at. People are going to say all day long, it doesn't matter what it appraises for, it's only as good as what somebody's willing to pay for it. That is correct. But when you're doing your vertical construction loan and when you're looking about getting financing for these houses, they are going to be looking at an appraisal. So I know that if there is a subject or if there's a property close to your subject property in the same subdivision, that appraiser is going to use that property as a property or as a comparable comp. You want to make sure that you're doing the same thing. So one, Make sure that you are looking at comps within your same subdivision, not crossing over major thoroughfares, not going past major stop sites and intersections, making sure you're staying within the community that you're going to be building or buying in. Next, number two, make sure that you are plus or minus 200 square feet in your comps. You do not want to be comparing one comp that's 3,000 square feet to a comp that's 2,000 square feet. Just a pro tip for you guys, the larger the square footage, the smaller or the less price per square footage you're going to get. The smaller the house or the smaller the square footage, the more you're going to get price per square footage. So you want to make sure that those properties are within 200 square feet to make sure that you're comparing the right price per square footage and that you're not looking at the wrong numbers. Number three, same property type, guys. Make sure you're looking at the same property type. I will see students who are trying to compare properties that are 2 stories to a 1 story, properties that are 100% hardscaped or bricked to properties that are 100% siding. Those are not comparing apples to apples. So make sure that you are comparing properties that are the same property type. You may not know this, but stairs are going to bring less value to a property. So if I'm comparing a 1 story to a 2 story, I am not getting accurate price per square footage. And then number four, make sure that you stay within the same build generation. Make sure you stay within the same build generation. That is usually between 3 and 5 years. You do not want to be comparing a property that was built in 2024 to a property that was built in 1990. There have been a number of changes from aesthetics, build practices, and procedures that are going to throw off your numbers. You want to make sure that all of your properties or all of your comps are within 3 to 5 years of each other, but try to get as close to the same year as you possibly can. And then last but not least, number five, make sure that you are looking at comps that are within 3 to 6 months, okay? Properties that have sold within the last 3 to 6 months. If you have to go out further, then great, but make sure you start at 3 to 6 months. There are a number of market shifts that could have taken place that will throw your numbers off. So make sure you're not looking within the year that I hear a lot of people talk. First start within the last 3 to 6 months when you're running your comps. So now that we know exactly what comps are, we know what trusted professionals that we can lean on to get the reports that we need to get those comps, and we have these different platforms that we can reach out to or subscribe to get access. You guys now have the 5 guidelines that we like to use to make sure that we keep some parameters on ourselves when we're running these comps. Now let's go ahead and jump into running the illustration through in real time. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And lucky for us, there is a broker who reached out to us today and said there is a property available at 6203 Kimrock. So now we've brought up the subject property. Depending on the software that you guys have access to, you'll be able to run your comps or CMA. So we're going to go ahead and run our comps and or our CMA, and then we want to go ahead and set our filter parameters or criteria. So I want to make sure that I stay first within a quarter of a mile, and I want to make sure that I am less than 6 months. Remember, we're basing it on our 5 basic rules or guidelines. So I want to make sure that I stay within this window right here, right? So this is my community or subdivision. If you guys want to get more detail, it should be provided on your CMA report. So I have a quarter of a mile, 6 months. Go ahead and run my search. There are 3 properties that have showed up. We got 2644 Paul Mall, 6051 Plumdale, and 2411 Gooch. As you guys can see, it does meet our criteria from a year standpoint. So they were all built within the last 3 to 5 years. So this one was built in 2024, 2025, and then we have another one that was built in 2024. The next is our square footage requirements. These two are within the 1,200 square foot comparables. So these two are apples to apples comps from a square footage standpoint. But this one is more than 200 square feet larger. So I wouldn't necessarily call these two comps. So these two, one sold at 239, the other one sold at 330. but we see the one that was larger, it sold at $368,000. We wanted to make sure that they're in the same build generation, 6 months, and that they are the same property types. So let's look at property types. This one is a 1 story, and it was only 44 days on the market. This one is another 1 story, and it seems like this is a more of an older aesthetic. It's probably why it's lending to more days on the market, 107 days. And then this one on Gooch, a little bit more of a modern aesthetic. I don't know if this is stucco or ephes. We got some batten board on the side, and then we have some stoning on the bottom and around the garage. But again, another 1 story. So as I'm looking at comps in this area, I am probably going to be looking to build a 1 story because that is what I'm seeing is performing in this area. Also, I only have 2 comps that are showing the 1,500 square foot, and then my other comp is 1926. So now if I want to actually bring in a deeper chart of comps, then I can go ahead and switch from a 1/4 mile range and I can bring it to a half. So as you can see, we got a lot more properties. I want to filter by generation first. So 2025, and then we're going to look at the square footage. So 2,225 square feet sold at 405,000, 1768, 354,000, 1558, 239. As you can see, as we get past that 200 square foot threshold, our property values change a lot. So let me look at my square footages. I know if I come with something around 1,500 square feet, I'm going to get somewhere between 315 and $330,000. As I go up on my square footage, down to the 18s and 19s, that's where we're seeing that 350 to 370 mark. So if I'm looking to come top of market, what I'm going to do is take these properties that are between 18 and 1900 square footage. We're going to send those over to our architect and our designer and let them know these are the comps that we're looking for, top of market, to get somewhere between 355 and 375, and then we are going to build something comparable. So these are the 5 things that we look for. Again, there are some other techniques that we can bring into it, but with these basic sentiments, you'll be able to value a property really quickly.